Do you know someone with green eyes? Can you think of someone who does? If you can, congratulations! You've just thought of someone who has a trait seen in only 2% of the population. Now that's a whole lot of people. Now imagine the same amount of people having the same mental illness. This is Dissociative Identity Disorder, also known as DID. It is estimated to affect around 2% of the population, the same amount of people who have green eyes. So what is DID and how do individuals with DID cope? Watch on to find out. Hello and welcome to another Project OMOW video. My name is Karen and today we'll be talking about DID. Dissociative Identity Disorder, also known as DID and previously known as Multiple Personality Disorder, is a mental illness that is defined as an individual having two or more alters, which are different personalities that take executive control of the body. DID is better understood if we break it down to a spectrum. With 1 being the least severe and 3 being the most severe, DID ranges from derealization or depersonalization, dissociative amnesia, and lastly, DID itself. The least severe form of DID is derealization and depersonalization. While these terms may seem similar, derealization refers to feeling disconnected to the world around you, like you're watching someone else play the role in your life. Depersonalization refers to the feeling of being disconnected from yourself, like you're watching the movements of a robot instead of yourself. To some people who have depersonalization, they may feel like they are looking at a stranger in the mirror instead of themselves. In both, there is a strong feeling of being disengaged from the world at large, hence getting it a spot under the umbrella of dissociative disorders. Many things can cause this, ranging from underlying mental health conditions such as borderline personality disorder or anxiety, all the way to fatigue, PTSD, or epilepsy. Moving a step higher, the second most severe form of DID is dissociative amnesia, also known as DA. As the name suggests, people who suffer from this often have a foggy memory or no memory at all surrounding a particularly traumatic event. The onset is usually sudden with no symptoms shown, and an episode can last for an indefinite amount of time. Research suggests that DA occurs as a way for the brain to protect itself against trauma. Finally, the last thing on the spectrum of dissociative disorders is DID. To better understand DID, think of it as a family shared computer. There can be different admins, each of these users with a different wallpaper and file arrangement methods. For people with DID, it works the same way. They have alters, which are different personalities which may take executive control of the body. On average, someone with DID will have about 10 alters. These alters may speak and type differently, have different ages, heights, and identities. The alters switch and front, typically not observed by the doctor. Typically, there is a loss of memory when different alters switch, causing significant memory loss. Finally, the last thing on the spectrum of dissociative disorders is DID itself. To better understand DID, let's think of it as a shared family computer. There can be different admins, and each of these users have a different wallpaper and file arrangement methods. For people with DID, it works the same way. They have alters, which are different personalities that take executive control of the body. On average, when someone with DID goes into therapy, they can have up to about 10 alters. These alters may speak and type differently, have different ages, heights, and identities. The alters switch and fronts, which is typically not observed by the doctor. There is also a loss of memory when different alters switch, causing significant memory loss. So you may be wondering, what's the link between DID and OSD? What's OSDD anyway, since it hasn't been mentioned yet? Put simply, people who show strong symptoms of DID but do not fulfill all criteria for it are diagnosed with OSDD, other specified dissociative disorder. This links back to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, more commonly known as the DSM. People diagnosed with dissociative disorder, not otherwise specified in the DSM-4, will be diagnosed with other specified dissociative disorder in the newer DSM-5. In OSDD, there are two types, OSDD 1A and OSDD 1B. People with OSDD 1A have alters with less control over the body, but can still strongly influence their thoughts. Amnesia is also present when they switch. People with OSDD 1B have alters which can take executive control of the body and experience no amnesia when they switch alters. Dissociative disorders tend to develop in an individual as a way to deal with trauma. Most dissociative disorders form in children who are exposed to long-term physical, sexual, or emotional abuse. Some common symptoms which point to DID include flashbacks to trauma, trauma triggers, dissociative symptoms such as depersonalization, derealization and fugue, delusion, hallucinations, hearing voices, and anxiety or depression. Many of these symptoms happen to overlap with other symptoms of mental illnesses. Hence, there may be people who have DID or OSDD misdiagnosed with other mental illnesses. If you think that you or someone else may have DID or OSDD, do try to consult with a medical professional on the treatment options you can take. The most common end goals for an individual going through DID or OSDD treatment is functional multiplicity or final fusion. Psychotherapy such as cognitive behavioral therapy and medications can also help relieve the symptoms experienced. DID and OSDD can be difficult to cope with, making oneself feel like they're possibly delusional, overthinking, or other nasty things. As Celeste touched on topic in various mental health pages, I hope that this video helped you gain a deeper understanding of the spectrum of dissociative disorder. Thank you for watching and see you soon.